Welcome, Spartan fans. It's finally here, the first episode of Grind to Shine, a season with Alexander football. I'm your co-host, Patrick Klinger, joined by my co-host, Nathan Wiseman.
Yeah, we're excited to take you Alexander fans anywhere and everywhere these Spartans go this year, whether it be on the field or off of it. So Pat, let's get right to it.
That's right, Nathan. You know, perhaps the most important part of this offseason came with two-a-days, and you followed our coverage on the field, but we had the chance to find out what happens after the final whistle blows. After a long day of practice, I'm here with freshman Michael Kelly to find out just what these Alexander Spartans are doing after two-a-days. So Michael, what are we getting into today?
Well, you know, it's been a pretty hot day, practice. Didn't get lunch till a few minutes ago. Probably about to go take a dip in the pool.
All right, man. Sounds good. Let's get to it.
As a freshman, this is your first go-around with two-a-days like this. So, I mean, you know, how's that going for you?
Well, you know, it's a little adjusting. Got to get used to it. I was exhausted after last week's practice. I could go home, take a nap almost every day. And the biggest change for junior high to high school was the speed difference.
What would you probably say is like the thing you've learned the most here in two-a-days?
Well, I kind of learned to accept the fact that I might not be the biggest, that might get trucked a few times this season. I've embraced the fact.
You mentioned the speed of the game. You know, what do you think is the most difficult part of adjusting, you know, here in 2 days between the junior high level and now at the varsity level?
Well, the oldest person I'd go against is someone my age. Now I'll be going against people 2 and 3 years older than I am.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've got a lot bulkier and faster. So it's just a lot of getting used to, a lot of technique stuff.
What's your sleep schedule like? You know, how have you liked waking up early?
Yeah, no, I have not. It's kind of, wasn't it?
Does anyone though?
Everyone's moaning and groaning, getting there at 6:50 in the morning, waking up at 6.
6? Nathan and I are getting up at 5. We gotta get some coffee before we do anything.
Last season, with the team winning the TVC Ohio Championship, you were in 8th grade, so you weren't really a part of that team. So what was it like for you, as like an outsider, to see them win it all?
Well, it was pretty awesome, honestly. Me and Caleb got to be water boys for a few games, and then I retired from that job.
We were talking to Coach P a little bit, and he was telling us, he referred to you as a junior high standout. So what's it like going from a junior high standout to now getting first team reps at the varsity level?
It's a big step. And like I said earlier, like the speed and the strength of the kids there, I mean, it's just got to get a lot getting used to.
Coach Pernod had each class, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, go up and say their goals for the season. And I remember one of the things that you said was that it was a goal for you to play and start varsity. And so, I mean, it's looking like you will do that. So, and you said you were confident that you would do that. So, you know, where's that kind of confidence come from?
Well, I mean, you just gotta basically just believe in yourself and know that you're better than that guy next to you. Even if he is your teammate, you gotta, you know, push him and then he pushes you. And it just creates, I mean, you guys both get better out of it.
Okay, so come Thursday night, Fed Hock.
Yeah.
You guys are about to step on the field. You're in the locker room. All right, what song are you listening to get yourself all hyped up?
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Come on, you like rap? We got a little like some old school stuff, or maybe what do you?
Gotta be Taylor Swift.
Are you serious?
It's gotta be.
I
Taylor
love
Swift.
Taylor Swift. Taylor
Me
Swift
too.
and I have the same birthday, you know.
She's my girl.
She's your girl. What's your favorite song?
All of them.
All of them? Or is that just the answer you give because
You don't know any.
I don't know.
Is there a guy on the team that you look to for advice when you're not quite getting something?
AJ or Chase.
Why's that?
Well, because AJ just knows the offense like the back of his hand. He's played receiver, that's where I'm playing now. So he knows all the routes. I mean, he knows what to do. It's kind of nice, almost like having like a coach on the field.
So Spartan Nation wants to know, how many touchdown passes is Michael Kelly going to catch this year?
However many AJ throws me.
That's a good answer.
A special thank you to the Kelly family for allowing us to come out and hang out after practice. And Kelly will certainly be a player that Coach Pernod will be eager to see develop over the coming season. And speaking of the old ball coach, Nathan traveled down to his hometown of Gallipolis for the first sit-down at Penrod's place. I feel like we were just in the halls of Galley Academy way back in the day talking high school football, and now we fast forward and now you're getting ready to start year 3, Alexander. How fast has time gone? Now you're not even the new guy here.
Nope, definitely quick. And just from those days, I got less hair now and married and a beautiful daughter, and now we're here in 3rd year. Seems like yesterday we're trying to make a decision what to do, and follow the heart is what people always give you, and follow the heart, and without a doubt, I mean, Alexander's just opened the doors, not only for me and this family, but really for us to run the program how we want as a head coach, but also as a staff. And community's bought in, our young men have bought in, and it's just been special. And here we are, year 3, and excited, really ready to get this thing going, and goes quick, comes quick, and here we are.
And little Gemma, she was probably a little too little to attend Spartan games last fall after just being born. So do you have the Under Armour little cheerleader outfits or uniforms ready to go?
We talked to our clothing supplier last night at our dinner and auction, and hopefully we can get some things here coming up. But I did purchase one thing. We got some black and red Under Armour shoes that she'll definitely be supporting on Friday nights and one Thursday night.
You've known for a while this year that you were going to lose 20 plus seniors. You know that the year after a championship, the pressure's there. What have you learned this offseason and throughout this whole process of not necessarily starting new, but having a younger group and preparing for this year?
I don't feel pressure at all. Even last year with the seniors that we had and the talent we had, and I don't see it as that. I see it more as challenges, and if you're not challenged, you can't change yourself. So we want to be challenged. We want to continue to push forward, and the kids that we have, those are the ones that we're going to roll with. It's just our whole process, and it's how we do it from ground up. And right now we're talking about high school football, and whoever we have, whether we're healthy, whether we're hurt, we're going after it. And our kids have bought into what we want to do, and that's to be successful students first, and without a doubt, successful football players.
Everyone knows last year's, magical story, but this year, you have some younger guys, but then you also have some senior leaders and some younger guys who are also stepping up as leaders. What's your take on the team this year? What kind of identity do you think they bring to the table?
I think we have a really tremendous mix. Obviously, everybody's going to know A.J. Marks and Chase Harris, because those are 2 guys that you heard their name last year. It's all those other guys that people don't know, at least right now, coming into week 1. But hopefully by about week 4, week 5, those names will be known. We announced our captains last night, and Chase and AJ were 2 of those, and then Brandon Wilkinson and Alex Dalter are 2 tremendous additions, and really polar opposites really of what those guys are. I think Alex has been one of those guys, 3 years in the program now, and you look at him as a sophomore, you might not think he would be at the position that he's playing right now and be able to do what he's doing, but he's worked tremendously hard, and he's going to be one of our inside starting linebackers and play outside receiver for us some. And then Wilkie had an unfortunate injury to the end of his junior season last year, but he's starting to come on, and hopefully get him back here in the next couple weeks. And those 4 guys are really just the foundation and the look of our program this year.
We all know the motto of the year, grind to shine, the name of our show. The guys put in the grind during the week and they get to shine on Friday nights. But lately in practice, you've been hammering this energy and effort motto. Where did that come about, and how important is it for your team to have energy and effort every play on Friday nights?
It's one of those things that when you drive an hour to work and you drive an hour home from work, you try to just think of things of what the team lacks or really what could push this team. And I think right now just consistent energy, consistent effort, because we see it from time after time. It's just not in a consistent manner, and that's what we're trying to really hone in on is because it doesn't matter how talented you are or how untalented you are. You give yourself and your team energy, effort every single play, you can be successful. So that's really what we're trying to hammer into these guys is we need that consistent energy, that consistent effort.
The first big chance to bring that energy and effort is week 1 against Federal Hockey, a team that Alexander's beat the past 4 years. How do you keep your team grounded? They've known that they've had success with them in the past, but how do you keep them grounded to have that right mindset heading into week 1?
I don't think you really have to keep them grounded. I mean, just because it's the season opener, there's always that want to finally get the pads on for the first time against live contact when it actually means something. You get a W or you get an L. So I think that has everything to do with it. It doesn't matter who the opponent is or what the success or lack of success has been. It's week 1. It's Thursday night. We're opening up before every other area team, and we're going to have thousands of people there coming to watch who these Spartans are, and we're ready to show that the 2016 edition ready to play some football.
I know we're all excited for week 1, so Coach, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nathan.
Piecing together an ideal coaching staff takes time. Coach Pernod has surrounded himself with former players, colleagues, and local area coaches. But this year, he looked towards a former NCAA tight end to mold his young receiving core.
1, 2, 3, bang, 1, 2, 3, boom, back to the vertical. All right.
Before Anthony Talbert hauled in passes from Russell Wilson and Mike Glennon at NC State, he considered himself more of a basketball player.
Got to my sophomore year, someone told me that I had to choose. I had to pick a sport to be an expert in, and I happened to choose basketball. And so I'm training for basketball, not playing football at all. And my high school coach came to my house one day and basically told my dad to make me play football. And actually, I played varsity that year, and that's when I thought I could really make this thing happen.
Talbert made a bowl game in 3 out of his 4 years at NC State before transferring to Ohio University for his 5th year. The 6'4" tight end started 3 of the 9 games he played in, recording 6 catches for 94 yards, before an MCL injury cut his final season short. His next endeavor as a graduate assistant at Ohio University instilled him with the skills to become a coach.
I thought the game did a lot for me as far as giving me an opportunity to see things that I've never seen before. Academically, and just molded me as a young man, and I wanted to have that same impact with other young men.
We just talked, and he ended up coming in and meeting, sitting down, talking some football, talking about just really life and growing the young men, and without a doubt, within a minute of talking to him on that sit down, I was like, you're hired.
Well, I mean, as soon as they told us who he was, I went home and looked him up and everything, found him on video games, play with him all the time. So it was definitely kind of cool to like have him on different areas that I've never had someone like a coach be there before.
Attention to detail is the heartbeat of Talbert's coaching philosophy for all levels of the game.
Eyes to the tuck. Always eyes to the tuck. You have to make sure you get that or he'll be on you for sure.
He knows what it takes to be at that level and play at that level, and he's really able to adapt really to high school kids.
Make a move, get them off of you, okay? And you see every time I did something with my hands. How deep is it? How deep is it? Hey, Russell. Okay.
He's definitely serious, a little bit more serious than the other coaches, but he's really high energy and always getting on to you about doing everything right. Like, you can never be always correct with Coach Talbert because you can never be perfect, but in the same tent, it actually helps you get better.
Inspired by OU receivers coach Dwayne Dixon, Talbert's coaching method revolves around communication and mutual respect.
You don't have to yell at a young man or call him out of his name to get him to do what you want him to do. You know, they have to trust you just as much as you trust them. And if you show that mutual respect, that's probably how you can get them to perform at the best they can.
All right, Spartan Nation, it's time to start breaking down that Week 1 matchup where your Alexander Spartans will be taking on the Federal Hocking Lancers. And Nathan, this Fed Hock team, even though they're a non-conference opponent, this is a team that Alexander is very familiar with.
Yeah, they've opened up the last 5 seasons against each other, and Alexander has won the past 4 seasons. Last year out in Federal Hocking, these Spartans beat down on the Lancers 45-14. So I'm sure these Lancers are going to be fired up for this game.
I bet. Last year Federal Hocking went 0-10, winless, but that all the more reason that they will be ready to go come Thursday night. And last season they ran that spread offense with senior quarterback AJ Cobb, but he's gone, so it's a new look team just like these Alexander Spartans. So it's going to be a good battle on Thursday.
Yeah, and one thing to look forward to with the new team is that they need to stay focused. Week 1, they don't want to overlook this game. Even though they easily handled them last year, they can't look past week 1. They have to be focused for this one.
That's right. The biggest problem we've seen in these scrimmages is that the Spartans haven't been ready to play come that first whistle. They've been slow and sluggish until about halfway through, and then they start playing great. And even with a team that went 0-10 last season, you can't take anybody lightly in Southeast Ohio. So if they can come ready to play at the very beginning of the game, Coach Penrod's always preaching energy and effort. Those are the 2 things that this team can control, and if they have that, I think they could be in good shape.
Yeah, they got to have that energy and effort right from the kickoff. And another big thing that Alexander needs to do is that they have to have a clean game. We've seen in a lot of these scrimmages over the past few weeks, a lot of false starts, a lot of just mental mistakes and silly penalties, and they can't have that in week 1 against Federal Hocking, or else they're going to get behind fast.
Absolutely, and Coach Penrod will be looking for just that. These Alexander Spartans are a very young team, so you might expect that come week 1, but with a team that is as inexperienced as they are, and maybe doesn't have the talent that they did a year ago, you definitely can't be shooting yourself in the foot with silly mental mistakes and penalties all game long.
Yeah, and another thing to keep an eye on in this game is the offensive line for Alexander. We've talked about it all throughout 2 days. It's one of the biggest question marks on this team. They don't have a single guy that started last year coming back. We don't know about Brandon Wilkinson yet, but at that, they are a very, very young line. So they're going to have to grow up really fast in this first game.
Absolutely, and the spotlight's going to be on them. Like you said, they're as inexperienced as any position group on this team, and they've got some bumps and bruises even with the guys that they have. So they're not going to be at full strength, but Nathan, if they can get the push early on and establish that run like Coach Penrod is going to want to do, that could open up the passing game for AJ Marks and Chase Harris.
Yeah, and those two guys, like you mentioned, they're making their quarterback debut in week 1 against Federal Hocking, so it's going to be interesting to see how they can protect those 2 guys back there and see how they can balance out each other. So we're looking forward to the game on Thursday night, and we put together a little hype video to get you guys excited as well.
Comes down to those little things. Doing those little things right. Because you do little things, they will add up to great things. Those will add up to championships. That grind will add up to that shine. We are no longer mediocre, men. We are excellent. We excel. We are premier. We are the best of the best. And it is now your job to continue that. That is your legacy. That is your determination. What is your legacy going to be?
Well, that does it for our first episode of Grind to Shine, a season with Alexander football. But remember, you can keep up with all of our social media content over on the Spartan Endzone pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for coverage throughout the entire season.
And from now on, all of our shows will be released every Thursday night at 7 p.m. And come time for those Friday night lights, make sure to catch up with Nathan and I to talk a little Spartans football.
Yeah, and don't miss the kickoff on Thursday night at 7:30 right here in Albany. So for Patrick Klinger, I'm Nathan Wiseman, and we'll see you next time.